So the $5 billion that was in that contingency fund, the one that's supposedly supposed to be enough to sustain the SNAP benefits, the reason why they keep going back and forth is because it's gone.
In this video, we're going to talk about the SNAP Contingency Fund, a reserve of federal money set aside by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to help cover unexpected increases in food assistance costs under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. It's basically a backup fund meant to step in when regular SNAP money runs short, like during a government shutdown, an economic crisis, or a natural disaster. The whole purpose of this fund is to make sure families can still receive their benefits without interruption. But here's the question that's got everyone talking. If this backup money exists, why wasn't it used right away when millions of Americans were left without food assistance during the shutdown? Where's the money? Some people online believe the funds were mismanaged or even taken, while others think the government is hiding behind legal loopholes. Either way, the public wants answers. So let's take a look at some reactions, and be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this.
The money is gone. The money is gone. It's gone. They took our money and they literally thought that they were going to get away with it. But see, us meddling funds is pointing the fingers in the right directions. And now they got to scramble to figure out how to cover this shit up. That warning about Democrats winning, meaning a lot of people were going to go to jail, is because they all took a piece of that pie. They all took a piece of that pie. And now they got to make sure that they get their buddies in position to not actually investigate. They took our money. They took the money. They took it. They took it. Why do you think that Donald Trump all of a sudden is having the most profitable year of his career? 80 years. And this is the year that he's making the most money that he's ever made in his entire life. Yeah, they took the fucking money. And now the Supreme Court just went against the judge ruling that forced or ordered the Trump administration to fulfill the entirety of the SNAP benefits for the month of November. Yeah, they took the money. They took the money. That's the only reason why he would have to probably allegedly make that call to Supreme Court. Like, listen, block this shit, because they don't have it. They don't have our money, y'all. They took the money. Just like the last time that he caused another government federal shutdown, $3 billion was gone. And because it was gone and nobody could ever do anything about it, we couldn't ask no questions about it, they thought they was going to be able to do that shit again. They did it. But now there's too many fun questions. They don't have the answers, and now they're scrambling. So essentially, Donald Trump, this Trump administration took money out of my pocket, out of my check, and took food out of your mouth. And before we end this video, just to let you know, the Trump administration has actually removed the free IRS tax filing system created under the Biden administration, designed to help Americans save money, an average of $270. Trump said there will be no more of that in 2026. Yeah, that's your president.
Let's take a look at some reactions to her theory on what happened to the contingency fund. Elon was paid for his services. I think Ketanji Brown Jackson ruled the way she did to force an audit, and to also have a paper trail where the Trump administration argues why they shouldn't give the SNAP money. This administration has planned the biggest heist in history. And Elon becoming a trillionaire at a time like this. We need to stop paying taxes. Yep, they even stated in their appeal that they needed to transfer the funds back into the account. Why did you move it in the first place? That means the Supreme Court took some of that money as well, because they blocked SNAP benefits being released. No, they blocked it so it could get sent to lower courts, which would make the ruling harder to be overturned, and they'll have to explain why they can't give out SNAP, which will lead to an audit. This is literally why Trump is not allowed to run charities in New York anymore. What I don't understand is how people thought that a con artist and grifter wasn't going to do what he's always been doing. He stole it, babe, pure and simple. The Republican Party should be completely ashamed of themselves. How can you put a criminal in charge of money? Remember, 34 convictions.
I think one of the biggest reasons why they don't want Democrats coming into office behind them is that they're going to find all them little hiding spots and all that bullshit they've been doing. And that's why they're going to jail, because they've definitely been doing something illegal, but they're going to find every bit of evidence once they get there. That's why you got Steve Bannon sitting up there talking to them folks, talking about, hey, it's me and you going to jail. Us, we going to jail. And he's trying to finish a plan so he can at least have the safety net of, now whatever I did before is covered because it's legal, because Trump said so. Boy, when I tell you we need to show up and show out for these midterm elections, because These folks need to go straight to prison. They've been doing something illegal this entire time. And I'm convinced them SNAP benefits have been stolen and they've been put somewhere specific. And for some strange reason, I got this nagging suspicion that the mafia is involved somehow. I don't know why, because their name keep coming up over and over in different areas. But yeah, they stole that money. That's just only one of the illegal things that they did, but they definitely stole that money. Hey, but if all of them are crooks, why should anybody be surprised?
Okay. The executive branch has since exhausted the entirety of its SNAP contingency reserve, which amounted to over $5 billion. But that will be only enough to cover partial payments for the month of November. So the T is that $5 billion for SNAP is gone. So the reason that Justice Brown stopped and did a stay is to ensure that they find the money somewhere else. Y'all, where is the money? This shit crazy. And nobody's talking about it. Instead, they're talking about the black lady not getting SNAP, but not about the fact that the administration doesn't know where $5 billion is.
What if Trump and his cronies took money from SNAP and that's why they're not releasing the money to the people? What if the money's gone? There needs to be an investigation into the SNAP money. Where is it? There was a court order that the Trump administration has got to let the people have their food. So, where's the money, Jack? Where's the money, Stinky? Something fishy going on. Maybe there is something to this. I mean, where's the money? Why are they not releasing it? Besides pure evil and wickedness, which is the modern day GOP, the GOP fascists. But I find it kind of weird that they're still not doing it. Defying court orders. He is not king. He is not above the Constitution. He's not above Congress. I don't care if he's a president or not. He's not a freaking king. He's not God. So, release the fucking money, Stinky, or there is going to be consequences. There's going to have to be some kind of government intervention into an investigation to look into this SNAP money.
I don't think he got the money. That's just my opinion. I don't think that the SNAP contingency fund is there. I think the fund is there, but I don't think the money's there. I think they spent the money. That's just my opinion. I think they spent the money. I'm going to tell you why I came to that conclusion. Because he is now instructing his attorneys to ask the courts, why do I legally have to give them the money? Now, let me tell you something. We know Trump's game. Trump's game is always delay, delay, delay. But he's delaying for a reason. It's nothing just to go in and tap into the contingency funds and be like, okay, we can give half. But he don't have the money. Now, some people have said this is part of Project 2025. Now, from what I read in Project 2025, they did not want to eliminate SNAP completely. They just wanted to, from my understanding, they wanted to control it better. I don't think they wanted to eliminate it. So unless I've read something wrong, I'm up for correction in reference to that. But I don't believe this is a part of their Project 2025. I think he has spent the money. All these different projects that's happening, he's not going to his pocket paying for that. That's the taxpayers. You know, you're moving funds from here, from this group, from this department, from that department. They moving funds around. And I guarantee you that SNAP fund was always moved around. I mean, was this $5-6 billion just sitting there, right? So that's just my theory. I just got this running theory. Share your theory because, bruh, that's not a hard thing. Just put the money, pay the people. You look like a hero. He don't have the money. That's why.
So has anybody actually verified that there are funds in the contingency account for SNAP, like the GAO, USDA, oversight committee? Has anybody actually verified that? Because this reeks of a bait and switch. You know how when a bill collector calls and you're just like, oh, the check's in the mail. That's what this sounds like. It reeks of bait and switch. And until somebody actually verifies that there are funds in that account to distribute as a contingency plan, no one's going to believe it's there. So we need receipts because, quite frankly, we've earned it.
So that's how y'all sent $40 billion to Argentina. Y'all used the backup SNAP money. Y'all got $100 million jets with the backup SNAP money. Y'all done use American tax dollars to make a literal ballroom. You got a marble decked out bathroom. That's where the money came from, for real. Kids not gonna eat because you got a nice marble bathroom now. They used our money. Everybody keeps saying, y'all keep commenting that the money ain't there, the money ain't there, the money ain't there for SNAP. If the money not there for SNAP, they not gonna tell us that. We know they not gonna tell us that. But that's why he panicking. That's why he panicking. He got judges. They went to law school, y'all. They got a reputation. They literally got appointed to the highest court in the land going against the law. What, they hiding? What are y'all hiding? This is scary. This is actually scary. This is actually scary. This is past fiction. This is past fiction. This ain't even Earth no more. This is, let's like name a new planet. That's what we're on. Cause ain't no way. We got educated, very smart, top of what they do, judges sitting in the Supreme Court, ruling against babies. Y'all know 40% of the people who receive SNAP are children? 40. And the highest court in the United States of America, they just blocked them getting food assistance. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I need Raymond Reddington to come and tell us what's going on. This is an episode of Blacklist, actually. This ain't real life. Can't be. Ain't no way. I'm not buying it. None of us are buying it. Where is our tax money? Where is our tax money? Where's our tax money?
He spent the money. Yeah, Trump spent all the money in the EBT and the SNAP Contingency Fund. Over $5 billion is gone. In case you've been wondering why he's been doing backflips to keep from having to pay out of the SNAP and EBT Contingency Fund. All the lawsuits, he's trying to stop it. In case you're wondering why, that's because he doesn't want anybody to find out that that money doesn't exist anymore. Have you seen the documents circulating, the court documents where the justice outlines what happened to that money? The executive branch exhausted that fund. I'm only laughing as a sign of mania and insanity because I don't know what else to do at this point. That sounds like a embezzlement, right? That's a crime. That's a crime for which people do time, yeah? Are we surprised? I'm not surprised. I don't even think his swallowers would be surprised. They just won't care, you know? They just won't care. As far as they're concerned, this is just another step to sticking it to the poor, who is actually mostly made up of them. So the irony is... But... he's never going to see a jail cell for this. And his side won't care. They'll make up some excuse or another.
Welcome to Unhinged Rabbit Hole News. Why do I believe that Trump stole the contingency fund for SNAP? Let's get into it. Let's start with a brief history of Donald Trump and his unpaid bills. In 1984, he stiffed a cabinet maker who supplied slot machines, bars, and desks to the tune of over $84,000. In 1998, a toilet maker fulfills an order for Trump's Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. This order eventually totaled over $200,000. He walked away with $70,000. In 2006, Donald Trump was sued by his personal driver of 25 years for over 3,300 hours of unpaid overtime. During 25 years of service, Noel Cintron only received 2 raises, one in 2006 and another in 2010. He eventually sued for over $350,000. In 2007, Trump orders $700,000 of curtains, bed sheets, and pillowcases for Trump Hotel. Trump Hotel eventually increases those orders to the tune of $1.2 million. Due to an unpaid balance of over $550,000, the owner, Larry Walters, halts production and then retains the materials for the curtains as collateral. So Trump does what he does best. He sues and then has the sheriff's office show up and take all of the drapery from the business owner. As the sheriffs are removing these materials, Trump still has not paid. Larry Walters was eventually forced to settle for over $820,000, leaving him $400,000 short of the owed balance. And just a little nugget, he had to file for bankruptcy after that. And as recent as 2017, he was sued and forced to pay over $330,000 for stiffing a paint maker and event staff in Florida. What all of these instances have in common is that Donald Trump owed someone money and decided to use the courts as a way to not be responsible for paying those bills. He has essentially weaponized the court systems in America in order to avoid ever being financially responsible for anything that he does. Another thing that I would like to point out is he has a tendency to always sue into bankruptcy blue-collar workers, the average American. He does not consider us valuable enough to be paid for our services, even after we provide them. Now think of SNAP as a bill. It's a government bill, right? Every month the government has to pay it for us to receive it. Well, it looks to me like based on his pattern, he doesn't have the money and he doesn't plan on giving it.
Y'all seen this? I need somebody else's eyes on this to let me know if I'm crazy or not. Because Ketanji Brown Jackson in her dissent just said everything that we have been assuming. We have been talking about them not having the SNAP benefits anymore. The contingency fund is gone. And she said the quiet part out loud. Somebody else look at this for me. This is Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent from the court case that the Supreme Court just heard about funding SNAP. She said the applicants assert that without intervention from this court, they will have to transfer an estimated $4 billion by tonight to fund SNAP benefits through November. Where is the contingency fund? They shouldn't have to transfer anything. You can see her name right down here at the bottom. What the f do they have to transfer? That money should be there. That's what it's for. I don't care how you feel about SNAP. I truly don't. Our government is stealing from us. Those are our tax dollars that are now lining their pockets. None of that money should have been touched. That money should be there to access in the event that the emergency ever happened and it was needed immediately. Like, listen, you could feel however you want about SNAP. This is illegal. Our government is stealing from us. I'm going to be willing to bet that that bailout on Argentina was not actually a bailout. It was some form of laundering for some type of crypto. Somebody needs to follow some bank accounts and some crypto shit. I don't even know how all that shit works. And huge ups, yet again, to the black woman. Black women are always, consistently the ones that are saving us and pointing this shit out. I'm glad she said it. The contingency fund is gone. And she said the quiet part out loud.
Okay, gang, we are going to run through this one more time. SNAP benefits for the entire country costs approximately $9.5 billion, okay? $9.5 billion. All right, there were 2 cases filed when the Trump administration said they weren't going to fund them. Case number 1, Massachusetts v. Department of Agriculture. Case number 2, Rhode Island State Council of Churches v. Rollins. All right? Both of those cases issued a temporary restraining order. The first one, this one down here, said you guys have to pay out the entire contingency fund. That contingency fund was worth $5.5 billion, and the government has paid that out. But that is only half of the amount, or a little bit more than half. So this much, this long-term contingency fund of $5.5 billion is paid out. It is gone because it is now in the hands of the states. It's already gone. It's already been paid to the states. That's why, as Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said, it's gone now. The rest of this money can come from any variety of different sources. The judge in this case, the judge in the Rhode Island case, said you need to find some other sources and pay out the rest of this too. And that is what the federal government, what the Trump administration is fighting right now. They say, we don't want to pay the rest of this. We don't want to pay this extra $4 billion to get us from 5.5 up to 9.5. And that's what the question is right now, whether they have to pay full SNAP benefits or just partial SNAP benefits. But the partial SNAP benefits have already gone out from everything I can tell. I haven't seen that written anywhere because everybody seems to be pretty confused by this case, but the federal government filed a document in this case, in the Massachusetts case, early last week saying, we agree to this, we will be paying this out, no problem. And I can't see any reason why they haven't or why they wouldn't, and money started flowing, and according to everything I've heard, states like Wisconsin started getting their money out of this early last week. So as far as I can tell, that's what's meant when they say this money is gone. It's already been spent as agreed to. The question now is whether more money will be spent on top of that. So that is the only question we have left. That's what we're dealing with right now. Got it? Clear as mud?